Hi, have you ever felt that a certain negative thought has been stuck in your head constantly and is going on that loop? What if I tell you that this can be changed? That is, the way you look at it can change the experience of it. So, in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about this powerful tool called framing and reframing. So, framing is actually the mental lens through which you see something. It is like that, it's exactly like the photo frame that you have around a picture, and it highly influences the way in which you look at the picture, right? Similarly, the mental lens through which you see a particular situation is how you experience that particular situation. So, that is framing. For instance, suppose you get a negative feedback from work and you can look at this particular situation as I'm a failure, it's absolutely pointless to go on. Or you can be like, this is a pretty interesting feedback, I think I can go with this feedback. So it depends on how you see it. So framing is how you see it, and framing is something that happens automatically. But when you become aware of it, that's when the reframing happens. Reframing is consciously being aware of the fact that you're seeing certain things in a certain way and then changing the way in which you're seeing it to bring it or to make it more positive or to make it in a more structured viewpoint. So there are several types of reframing. There are two major types of reframing. One is the content reframing and the other one is the context reframing. So content reframing is when you are changing the event itself. Instead of seeing something as a failure, you see it more of as a positive learning experience. Whereas the context reframing is, instead of seeing something as stressful, you see it as a situation where you truly care about. Like, for example, let's say that you have a presentation coming forward and you can either see this presentation as something you will definitely screw up, or you could see it as an opportunity for you to be able to convey to the audience what you want to convey and also to be able to connect with the people better. So there are several other techniques as well. For example, temporal reframing. Temporal reframing is when you think of an event and then consider or see that event from different vantage points, like taking your past and thinking that what would your childhood version think about this particular event, or you can think of how will you see this particular event in 40 years and then then try to understand the situation that way. Then there is the systematic reframing. Instead of seeing that particular event as just one single minute event, see it in a broader perspective. Like, how will this event influence the whole thing? How does different situations get impacted by this event? You will realize that a lot of times it is not as important as you think it is. Then there is this positive intent reframing, where you try to look at the positives of everything. Everything has its own positive. Like, instead of thinking everything as a failure, everything is as a more feedbacks for you to grow as a person. And then there is obviously the context reframing, where you change the context itself so that you can see the things more better. The reason why I decided to do this video on framing and reframing and all that is because it is a huge tool when it comes to being more resilient. So resilience, for those who don't know what it is, it means the ability to bounce back after facing a very difficult situation. We can either keep brooding over it or we can go forward. And the best option from these two is obviously to go forward. A lot of people don't know what strategies to use to go forward. So a lot of times, as a lot of people say, a lot of things are in our head. And when we can change the way in which we look at events, I think we can also be more happier, because our brain sometimes is really, really amazing to make mountain of a molehill and then make us very anxious about things. So I think this particular video will be useful for you. I hope you will also learn to frame and reframe things, see things in different perspectives. If things don't seem pretty okay in the first person perspective, shift to second person perspective, shift to third person perspective, shift the perspectives and look at the situation in different angles so that you are able to see it in a more logical way. Of course, it is easier said than done, because when you are emotionally overwhelmed, all these things won't work, to be honest. Your brain is just in this crazy volcano mode. But then you should definitely wait until your emotions have calmed down and then start thinking of things in a more strategical way to deal with the situation better. So I hope this video is useful. Thank you. Until next time. Bye-bye.